What's going on, everybody? TheKennyDubz here with another Mega Man X Dive video. Today we're taking on Jakob's Orbital elevator. I thought I would start this just to kind of start a climb of this and have something consistent for Mega Man X Dive on the channel. Anyway, I'm not going to be commentating over the entirety of the vid. I'll just be post-commentating little bits of it when I start each floor and my loadouts. So let's jump into it. Now, the first floor has a melee weapon damage amplification, so you might want to bring a melee weapon. I'm actually not going to be doing that. I'm going to be bringing Pallet with the Bat card so that I can restore some HP when I defeat enemies. And right here, I'm showing off the chips that I have attached to my abilities. I forgot to show this initially, so this is actually edited in post. So if the editing seems a little weird, it's going to be because of that. You can get through this without Bat as well, as I cleared this a long time ago when I first started playing. However, I just went back to do it now, and Bat just makes it easier, so I put Bat on. Now I'm using Palette because I just kind of wanted to use some kind of throwaway characters earlier on. Not necessarily throwaway, so to speak, but I didn't want to have to like try to burn any characters in the off chance that I did end up performing poorly and not finishing this run. Now, one thing you might notice when I'm using Palette is that I jump in the air a lot, and that's because one of her skills, the electric net, has a long delay if used on the ground after casting the skill. So by jumping in the air, you can mitigate that and you won't be stuck on the ground as long. Alright, so the next floor has a launcher modification on it, so you do more damage when equipped with the launcher. Gonna be using Palette once again, but I do believe I switch out one of my weapons here. Just kind of trying to be using the more free-to-play friendly weapons and characters. For the most part, some floors might be kind of difficult without them, but I think I should be able to manage for the most part. Anyway, here I use the B rank launcher. I have it at 3 stars because you get the memories for that from doing boss challenge each day. And I'm using the light wave cannon, which is also attainable for free. I believe it's at lab level 4 when you can make that. In any case, it's something you can obtain even if you don't end up pulling too much. Now this floor has some Metars that can heal, so you're going to be careful of them. And maybe try to take them out first just so they don't keep healing the enemies over and over, because I didn't explain it in the first floor, but you are timed on this, so if you time out you will not be able to finish the floor. And again, the reason I jump in the air a lot as Palette is because of one of her skills. If you use it, there's a lot of recoil and you kind of just end up vulnerable on the ground a lot, which you don't want to do. So other than that, not too much to do on this floor. It's mostly just Metars. You just kind of want to dodge and take out the healing ones. The healing ones are the ones with the white helmets and the little siren on top of the, not siren, the flashing lights on top of their helmets. So you know which ones they are and which ones you should prioritize. Alright, for the third floor, it has a damage modification for sprayer type weapons. So once again, I'm going to switch my weapons up. I'm going to be using the snow spray, which is a fantastic weapon. You can get that for free from I think the Rex enemy in the boss challenge. And I'm going to be using the flamethrower. I forgot the exact name of it, but you can make it starting at, I believe, research level 2. And for the most part, this floor is just are just bat enemies. So pallet does pretty well here, along with sprayers. Aside from the damage modification, you can hit multiple of them at one time. But pallet's electric net skill that I've been using a lot for the first few floors, it can hit a lot of the bats at the same time as well, which is quite nice. Isn't really much to say about this floor outside of just don't let them try to overwhelm you. As you see, that happens to me. So I try to stay along one side and bait them towards the middle so that I can get away safely. I also have the defensive chip on one of my weapons. I have Sting Chameleon, and I have the defensive chip. The more you get hit, the more increases your defense. It stacks up to like 5 times, I believe. It's not the best chip, but it might help in Jakob's a little bit, depending on which characters you're using. And there isn't really much else I could really have on. I can put on Chameleon on both sets, but it doesn't really do much for me. And that floor is really, really easy. It's just dodging bats and dealing with them. So heading up to the 4th floor, I believe there is a machine gun increasing trait for this floor. So I'm switching to Axel. Now the reason I'm switching to Axel over using Pallet again is actually for one of the mechanics of Jakob's Orbital Elevator, and that is you can only use each character a set amount of times each day. Now for B rank characters, that's going to be 3 stages a day, unless they end up fainting or getting destroyed, then you have no more uses for them that day. That applies for all characters. However, if you complete the stage, depending on what rank the character is, that will determine how many uses of them you have for that day. So I'll switch to Axel. I was just showing off my loadout that I opted to go with for this. I put on both of Axel's cards for this, and luckily this is a machine gun, so you can just kind of get away with doing whatever you want. Because they give us the Gatling gun at the start, and the Gatling gun is a pretty good weapon. Now for Axel's chips, I believe I showed it on screen. I didn't talk about it, but I opted for the shield because shields are great to have in Jakob's Orbital Elevator. They are life-saving. And on top of that, Axel gets an attack buff because of tactical reinforcements when he rolls. So you want to be using that every so often. As you see, like I spam the roll every here and there, and then I might use Axel's skill. But this floor is pretty easy just because it gives a machine gun boost, and we have a pretty decent machine gun to start the game with. Now for the 5th floor that we're going to take on in this video, and the last one, I'm going to be using X. There is a buster modification for this floor, so I believe X is the best unit to use if I'm sticking primarily with free-to-play units, or free-to-play friendly units. You can use Classic Mega Man as well, but I have X at 5-star. I have both of his cards at 5-star. So X is going to be my unit of choice. Now something strange happened here where my audio didn't save, but I have the footage still. So this part right here, there is audio because I forgot to show my loadout, so I went in and recorded this afterwards. But as you can see, I have both X's cards and just a random yellow card there just to trigger the final effect of X's cards. Now, in Jakob's Orbital Elevator, the bosses they're not necessarily hard themselves. The reason the bosses are sometimes a bit tricky is because they have ads with them, as you see right there. And a lot of the times auto aim will prioritize the ads, which is kind of annoying. Mao is still much of the same. You just kind of have to dodge him and shoot the ads. The hardest part about this fight actually is dealing with the ads. And at one point, I believe coming up here, I think it's right here, I get into a very good pattern. I don't know if this is because of where I was standing and what I was doing. Oh, it's not right there, is it? Should be coming up in a minute here though. But I ended up baiting him into not summoning any more bats by using his sweeping move. Ah, right here. Here it is. I'm not sure what caused this, but when it happened, I was just like, I'll just take it because this is just really free now. I don't have to worry about the auto aim targeting the ads because they're just basically getting in the way. And like I said, I went for X with this because the Buster increase in damage, and X has Buster Mastery along with his cards amplifying his Buster Mastery. So that's going to be it for this run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll have more of these up in the future. Let me know how you guys feel about like this style, or if you would prefer a more like live style commentary rather than post commentating and giving my thoughts on the floor. Anyway, if you did enjoy, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and shows that you're enjoying the content. Let me know how you feel about this kind of content, like I said previously, and I guess I'll try to keep this more free-to-play friendly, but some floors are really annoying because later on, some floors... you know what? I'll get into that later. Anyway, later.